to help to sing these songs of freedom, 'cause all I ever had, redemption songs, redemption songs. Hey guys, welcome back to another Pass the Guitar live song tutorials. And in this video, we're going to cover this beautiful song by Bob Marley and the Wailers, Redemption Song. So if you're ready, let's dive right in. Zoom in. As per usual, we're going to start with our chords, and you guys are going to be happy. This song is packed with some of the most used chords out there. We're going to need to use G majors, E minors, C major, A minor, and D majors. And one quick note, if you want to play with Bob Marley, good news, you do not need a capo. We're actually learning the song in the key he recorded it. All right, let's take a look at the strumming pattern we're going to be using. Well, first of all, I'm going to play as I always do, and you're going to listen and pay attention to the counting. It's really important. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up. That's it. Let's plug in a chord. Let's use G major first. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. That's it, but before we move on, it's important to take a look at what we're going to do when we find two chords in one measure, which is the case with this measure here. C moving to D, and it's within the measure. We're going to have to get to D anticipated. We're going to hit D when we say end after 2. So that's what it means being anticipated, because it's not going to fall right on halfway through the measure. And it sounds like this. 1, 2, D, and 4, and. So you're literally just playing on C, 2 strums, and then after that, all of the rest of the strumming pattern will be for D major. So let's try to do that together. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and C, C, D, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and down, down, up, down, up. And that's it. Now that we have the chords and the strumming pattern, it's time to look at the form. So we have intro, verses, choruses, bridge. Let's start at taking a look at the intro, because it's super simple. It's just this 4-bar phrase here. You starting with a full measure of G major, heading to a measure where we're gonna play C for half of it and D for the second half, another full measure of G major, and ending this 4-bar phrase with a measure of C for the first half and G for the second half. That's it. Now let's plug in that strumming pattern, but don't forget the 2 measures with 2 chords, which is the one with C moving to D and the measure with C moving to G. We're going to have to do that strategy where the D major will be anticipated, and on the case of the last measure, the G major will be anticipated. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and C, C, D, and 4, and G, 2, and 3, and 4, and C, C, G, and one more time, G, 2 and 3 and 4 and C, C, D, and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. And that's it for the intro. Let's head over to the verse. Wow, 8-bar phrase with an extra measure at the end. So we do have to play these 8 measures 2 times. And then after we're done, we have this little extra, this 1 extra bar of D major right before we go to the chorus. And the good thing is that this extra bar of D major, we're just going to play a whole note anyway. So it's just a landing long note preparing us to go to the chorus. So let's take a look at the verse. We start with a full measure of G major, followed by a full measure of E minor, and then a full measure of C major, and then the 4th measure is a full measure of A minor. Now heading over to the 2nd line, we start with a full measure of G major, followed by a full measure of E minor, and then we head over to a full measure of C major, and we end this 8-bar phrase with a full measure of D major. And if this was the 2nd time around, we would play another measure of D major, which will go right when we sing, "Won't you help to sing?" the pickup notes to the chorus. That's it for the verses. Let's plug in that strumming pattern and listen to it. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and E minor, 2, and 3, and 4, and C major, 2, and 3, and 4, and down, down, up, up, down, up, G major, 2nd line, and 4, and E minor, 2, and 3, and 4, and C major, 2, and 3, and 4, and D major, 2, and 3, and head back to the beginning, start all over again, and 4, and E minor, 2, and 3, and 4, and C major, 2, and 3, and 4, and A minor, 2, and 3, and heading to the 2nd line, starting with G major, and 4, and E minor, 2, and 3, and 4, and C major, 2, and 3, and 4, and D major, 2, and here comes the extra measure of D major, 2, 3, 4. And that's it for the verses. So hey, now we're going to head to the chorus. The chorus do change a little bit, but all they do is just add extra measures at the end, depending on how many times you want to repeat the phrase. Redemption songs, redemption songs. So Bob Marley repeats a little bit more on the 2nd chorus and even a little bit more at the last chorus. But this is what the choruses look like. Well, we have here 10 measures, but I wanted you to pay attention to one thing. These 10 measures are composed of 5 segments of 2-bar phrases. We're always going to have a full measure of either G major most of the time, and then one time we're going to have a full measure of E minor, always followed by a measure where we play C moving to D. So pay attention on this because it will be easier for us to memorize these 5-bar phrases instead of 10 measures. Always look for patterns. So we start with a full measure of G major, followed by a measure that we move from C to D. We do the same thing again with a full measure of G major, followed by a measure of C for half of it and D for the 2nd half. And then we finally hit that E minor, moving to a measure of C for half of it and D for the other half. And now we're going to have 2 of those phrases with G for a full measure, moving to a measure of C and D. And then one more time, the full measure of G major, ending with the measure moving from C to D. And that's it. But one quick tip, if you really need to rely on the lyrics, the E minor will land when we're singing, and all I ever had, and that's going to be the E minor. You're going to feel the change happening right there. Besides that segment, everything else in the chorus is basically just playing G majors for one full measure and then a follow measure with C moving to D. Let's plug in that strumming pattern and listen to the chorus. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and G, 2, and 3, and 4, and C, C, D, and 4, and G again, 2, and 3, and 4, and all I ever had, 2, and 3. Here we go. C, C, redemption song, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, redemption song, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and that's it. You see, if I were to repeat that phrase redemption song as many times, I'd just keep looping that 2-bar phrase over and over. And that's what happens on the other choruses of this song. Well, now we're left with only one part of the song, which is this bridge. It's so unique, it's so short, but Bob Marley does go there, and it's really nice because it breaks the flow a little bit. Let's take a look at the bridge. Well, it is so similar to the chorus. The only difference is that the 2-bar phrase that we have here is just E minor moving to that measure of C for half of it and D for the other half. And then although you're seeing 4 measures that get repeated, I want you to pay attention to the 2 measures, first and second, that are the same thing that we're going to do for measures 3 and 4. And then the same thing for measures 5 and 6, which is when we repeat, and then 7 and 8. So you're basically playing this 2-bar phrase of E minor moving to a measure of C for half of it and D for the other half 4 times. But if you want to look at into a 4-bar phrase, you can as well, and then you just repeat that 4-bar phrase. So we don't have to go over this one because we already went through how to play these measures. So let's go straight into plugging in that strumming pattern and just hear this bridge. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and C, C, D, 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 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and one more time, 2, and 3, and 4, and down, down, up, up, down, on last time, 2, and 3, and 4, and C, C, D, D, D. And there you go. We just went over Redemption Song by Bob Marley and the Wailers. But if you want to go further into this song and learn more and get even more than you can imagine, join us over at www.passtheguitar.live. Our platform is packed with tons of content, an awesome community, just great people to learn along with, and even opportunities to perform and play on our virtual jam sessions and virtual open mics. So what are you waiting for? Head over there. But before you do that, just don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click on that bell, and like this video. Don't forget, your support is extremely important for us. My name is David Cordero, and I'll see you on the next video. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, redemption songs, and all I ever had, redemption songs, these songs of freedom, these songs of freedom.